One of the biggest challenges for a CMO is developing an integrated digital marketing plan. Building a 52-week plan is challenging because you have to integrate traditional marketing with the new digital marketing and build it into a single holistic plan. What we're going to do in this video is to provide a framework that we're going to use in the course that allows you to build this multimedia holistic plan for any type of business. When you're considering digital marketing, you need to think about putting together the two major forms of marketing that people use today: push marketing and pull marketing. Push marketing is basically company controlled. In other words, when I think about push marketing, I think about that I, as a CMO, control the markets I want to target. I select the media that I want to use, and I select the message and the content, the offer that I'm going to make to you. And so as a result, I control everything. I determine when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, the media I'm going to use to make it happen, the messages I'm going to send to you, and who's exactly in that target market. So the company controls everything. Examples of this sort of marketing are emails, banner advertising campaigns, press releases, Facebook or other and magazine advertisements, DRTV, direct response television, and other forms of traditional marketing. And the key there is that the company controls everything. Pull marketing is exactly the opposite. It's consumer controlled. This is our digital channels. Okay, so you need to think about it in terms of all the social levels and the companies in the areas of media in the digital pyramid. You can think about it in terms of mobile applications. Think about it in terms of blogging, podcasting, building help videos, doing video blogs or vlogs, and other sort of content formats. The key thing is these are consumer controlled. In other words, I, as a marketer, put it out into the digital marketplace, and hopefully consumers, if I target it right and I make it awesome enough, will consume it and will advertise it. But really it's in the choice of the individual as to whether they're going to consume that or not, or whether they're going to tell other people or not. So in this realm, we have influencer marketing, engagement marketing, community marketing, and nurture marketing that moves things forward. And consumers, if they like us, will do things like peer-to-peer recommendations, which will virally move our message and our content through a marketplace, or they might provide a consumer review. And so these things are all controlled by the consumer, and we can just put out the right content. And if we do it right, and if we advertise it right, we can get people to consume it who are in our target market. But the key is they control it as opposed to push marketing, which we control. When I created my book, Social IMC, I wrote it in 2014. And what I did was I covered, and you'll be reading this, I covered the 3 social media marketing strategies that were in use at that time, and they still are. The first is engagement marketing. The second is nurture marketing. And the third one I called Social IMC, but it's really now called community marketing or community development. And we'll talk about that in terms of branded communities as well as private communities. And the key, though, is when I went through it, I wanted to talk a little bit about budgeting and justification. But because there wasn't a strategy that was holistic, I really talked about it in terms of those 3 strategies. In other words, I didn't say, and here's how you'll fold in traditional marketing, and here's how you'll bring in everything, because there wasn't a framework to do it. The good news is that while it didn't exist in 2014, there was one that came out in 2015 that is exactly what we need. And before we see that, though, I want to touch on 2 other concepts that are important. Thomas Friedman, who you'll watch in a video, talked about the idea of heat and light as his idea of digital content curation. And I really like this approach. What he talked about is that a company can produce one of 2 types of content. One is focused on light. In other words, it's illuminating ideas and letting people see them from a different, perspective. And it helps them understand the relationships and determine the right way to go. Light to me is education, and it's using your company's expertise to educate your target market on a topic that is important to them and it is in their mission, if you will, and where they want to go. And that gives them light. It makes things more easy to understand. A second type of content is heat. And heat means do something that makes them excited or anticipating change. It moves them to action, and it gives things in a different perspective. In other words, I can create heat by taking a controversial position, but I can also create heat by doing something awesome for the target market. And we're going to talk about the different strategies and components that will allow you to generate heat. And then we'll also talk about strategies and components that generate light. And in having a good mix of the two really builds a superior relationship. So what is this strategy? It was created by YouTube in 2015, in late 2015, and they used the term hero, hub, and hygiene. In early 2016, they changed it to hero, hub, and help. And the idea of it is there are 3 levels of content that you need to develop to build a holistic digital marketing strategy. And what they originally did is YouTube developed this and proved it so that they could encourage their major advertisers to develop more content for YouTube. The interesting part, though, is that agencies saw that this strategy really works for all forms of marketing and began to adapt their digital offerings using the hero, hub, and help concept. So here's what it is. The first thing you want in your marketing plan is you want some hero content. Hero content is designed to grow market share and to position your brand. And so what you want to do is you're going to create heat in the marketplace by making hero content that is awesome for the target market. That means we have to start with market insights and build out some form of content that they will really love. And what we'll do is we will do 2 to 4 hero launches in the course of a year. And so what you're going to look at is I'll show you different ways that we can develop hero content using any type of media. In other words, we don't have to do videos. We could do podcasts, we could do ebooks, we could do blogging, and we'll see the mix depending, and we'll pick the right one to generate heat by being awesome to the target market using the media that they want to use. The second type of content that you need to build is called hub content. So basically your hero content is going to take up a huge part of the 52 weeks, but people are out there in their communities talking about specific themes, and within those themes, specific topics. For example, if I'm a technology company, people are out there talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence. That's the theme. The topics they may be asking are, how do I use this effectively? What are the business situations where AI really works, or machine learning? How do I build a machine learning system? What makes a successful machine learning system? All of those topics are under the theme of machine learning. And so by learning what they're talking about, what the communities you want to develop and the markets you want to develop are talking about, we can identify the themes. And then through the course of our 52 weeks, develop topics that we can blog about or build a podcast on, or we could do a video on or a vlog. And we could begin to give them content that they want to consume with the idea that it will grow our market share steadily over the course of the year. The third type of content is help content. Today we know that consumers make decisions based on consumer reviews of products and services, as well as peer-to-peer recommendations. Help content is designed to support your customers to best use your products and services. It'll be things like videos on how to get the product out of the box. How do you install it? What are frequently asked questions? What sort of problems might you need to address? And giving people proactive content that's in a content library that they can access. And as we'll talk, doing it with video and podcasting is much better than doing it with text, because people can take their phones to wherever the problem's happening and just listen to it bit by bit to solve the problem. And so what you're looking at is hero content generates a lot of heat out in the marketplace. Hub can be a combination of heat and light. Help is basically light and helping them use your products and services in the best way. So our methodology will expand a little bit on those three, Hero, Hub, and Help. What we're going to do is the first thing we'll put in is we're going to use a concept, a strategy called newsjacking to identify holidays and events that people in your target market like to celebrate. And so what we'll do is we'll use those to create a positive market impact by celebrating it with them. And we'll talk about there's a number of things we can do with newsjacking. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to identify the events where your target markets congregate. It's called event jacking. And what we'll do is we'll use networking events and activities where they're gathered together to engage with them to essentially strengthen our brand position and our brand essence. And the interesting part is we don't have to be there to actually have a positive impact on a specific event. So we'll talk about that when we get into the event jacking strategy. Then the third step, we'll use hero content to grow our market share and strengthen our brand. Then we're going to do something called ramping up the buzz to maximize our acquisition impact. In other words, we're going to advertise our hero content to get people excited and to get influencers excited so that they will consume our hero content once we launch it. Then step 5 is we'll maintain the buzz for a long period of time with follow-up marketing based on our hero events. Then we use, in step 6, we'll use hub content to strengthen relationships and to fill out our calendar. And then we'll create hub content to increase customer satisfaction and positive reviews. By doing these 7 steps, we'll build a holistic multimedia strategy that will give us something to do every single week. It'll get down to actually a daily plan to take us step by step in building a relationship with our target markets. Now, I'm sure you're saying, well, if I have multiple target markets, do I do this multiple times? And the answer is yes. And then we can integrate all those plans together into our master plan, which we as a CMO can then justify to senior management. So it looks basically like this. The purple might be holidays. The red one might be events that people are going to. You notice the hero has a ramp up and a ramp down piece. And then the hub is that red line that steadily grows on our market share. And across the bottom will be the actual help content that we'll create whenever we upgrade our products and services or create a new product and service. And so by putting that all together, we have a very good systematic way to integrate traditional push and pull marketing into a single plan that we can then manage and justify to senior management. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, and we will be working on these throughout our class to figure out the best way to build a holistic marketing program for our high value target markets.